Astrology Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, June 20th. So today we have the moon moving out of her place of power in Cancer energy to shift into Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac. So anytime we are leaving Cancer energy for Leo energy, because it's a water sign and we're going to a fire sign, there's always a little bit of a shift for the positive. We're moving out of the emotional realm. We're moving out of the heaviness, out of the weight, out of the nostalgia, out of the emotion, and we are kind of getting some pep back in our step. Of course, the Leo energy is bold and brave and courageous and really wants to kind of step in the spotlight and make things happen and follow our heart space, and definitely a totally different vibe compared to the moon being in Cancer. This is also the last day of Gemini season, thank goodness, which means that we are but hours away from the summer solstice kicking off, closing this particular karmic chapter and opening up a brand new one, resetting the scales, so to speak, in order for us to move into this next chapter of our creation story and get down to the nitty-gritty on what it is that we have to build in our lives in order to house the dreams, the goals, the visions that we're currently trying to manifest. So there are 9 different aspects here today. 8 of them will involve the moon. The moon will be sextiling with Uranus. And of course, the moon's still very much in Cancer energy at this particular point in time. Sextiling is merging this energy with Uranus, the Great Awakener. So this does kind of suggest that we are going to have a shift in our emotions, in our heart space. We may find that we are able to let go from some of the attachments that we've been holding on for dear life to. And really, we're kind of shifting our perspective and our understanding on what it is that we need to build for ourselves as far as safety and security and stability goes, not only in our inner realm, but in our external realm as well. And this Uranian energy, as you know, being the Great Awakener, always brings an aha moment, an epiphany, a awakening of sorts, where a new shift, a new perspective takes place because of the little tiny bit of clarity that we're actually gaining. So this is going to push us in the right direction, mostly closing the door on some of the funk that we've been sitting in and really kind of amp us up, get us to a point of excitement on looking forward instead of being stuck in the past. The moon will then interact with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is in this Pisces energy, retrograde, of course. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for Saturn's retrograde, I definitely recommend you go do that because we're sitting in it until the fall. The moon interacting with Saturn in this way is definitely going to bring a little bit of a reality check, a little bit of a sobering reality check, if you will. We can't really kind of romanticize too much of the elements going on in our life because Saturn, he kind of gives us a very loving smack upside the head and really needs us to get focused on what it is that we have to do in the here and now in order to get rid of the attachments from the past that are blocking us from making the changes, from moving forward, and really orient us to where the roles and responsibilities of our lives are changing, where the commitments and obligations are changing, either because we've outgrown them, completed them, or because we're no longer in alignment with them. And instead of sticking with them and having them suck our life force energy out of us, we have to make a change in order to reorganize and restructure the commitments, obligations, roles, responsibilities that we have in life and to whom. The moon will then trine with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in its place of power in Pisces energy, all about our higher selves, our dreams, our imagination. This is a good vibe, which means that we get some water on water action here between the Cancer energy and the Pisces energy, which is very cleansing, very healing, very transformative. This particular aspect is coming with a lot of intuitive insight, maybe some visions, a little bit of a glimpse, if you will, on the path, on the plan and moving forward, and really pushing us to remind ourselves of the end goal so that we can remain inspired, excited, and motivated to push through the particular obstacles and challenges that we're currently facing. The moon will interact with the sun in such a way that will definitely illuminate the different choices, the different options that are coming to an end, if you will. The end of Gemini season means the end of this mental pressure, the end of the debate, the end of sitting on the fence, the end of the curiosity. Now, does this mean that we are going to just wake up and have all the answers, all the clarity? No, that's not how astrology works, but it is creating the aspect that we will be sitting in the energy of for the next coming of weeks that will reveal to us where it is that the gap between the extreme options that Gemini energy season faced us with, where it is that that is coming to a middle ground, a compromise, a negotiation point, if you will. The moon will then oppose Pluto. We talked about this a couple of days ago, about how the energy was going to get super intense to this particular point because, of course, Pluto, being the great transformer, retrograde now back in this Capricorn energy, Cancer energy sits across from each other. They represent the axis of safety, security, and stability. The Cancer energy wants that emotionally, spiritually, in the home, in the family dynamic, while the Capricorn energy mostly focused on the career, the reputation, the roles, the responsibilities, the finances. Either way, they are on the same axis. They have a major impact on one another. And the moon sitting across from, totally opposing Pluto, is definitely going to bring a lot of struggle, probably an old struggle that we were very happy to get rid of back in March, but we didn't bring it to a completion point. So now we have to revisit it once again. The struggle is between what it is that we need to do for ourselves and what it is that we feel we need to do for other people. So personal affairs for me, the individual, I, versus the commitments and obligations of the roles and responsibilities that I have made to those people out there. And so this is an intensity to show us where it is that the power struggle is very real, where it is that we don't feel in control, where we don't feel like we are doing the things that we need to do for ourselves. And this illumination should put us in a thought pattern in order to figure out what it is that we need to break away from. This is the point in time which the moon is going to go void, of course. And we don't sit in it very long, literally like 25, maybe even 30 minutes, which is a great thing before the moon shifts into Leo energy. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in his place of power in Gemini energy, will make a semi-square, which is a tension point, a conflict point with the true node. That's our soul path, our destiny point. So what we're getting here is a mental block. We don't know the path forward. We don't know the next step. We don't know what the plan, what the strategy should be, because we're getting caught up on small details that are actually irrelevant. We are making them a bigger deal than they actually need to be. We are getting stuck on physical realm circumstances, which will eventually dissipate and be removed over the next week when we move into the more intuitive side of Cancer season. And because of this, we're not really seeing the growth. We're not seeing the progress. We're not even seeing the potential for growth or progress or the path forward. So this is a little bit of a Debbie Downer, if you will, because we're all cluster effed in our mental plane, getting caught up on the smaller details that are insignificant and don't even matter, and therefore blocking the path, the plan, the strategy, and moving forward. The moon, now in Leo energy, giving us a little bit of a pep in our step, is going to make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, in this Pisces energy. And so what this is kind of doing, first of all, we have to understand that Leo energy gets us to the raw, vulnerable energy of our heart space. Saturn, typically speaking, being a little bit of a negative Nancy, a little bit of a Debbie Downer because he wants to give us the tough love life lessons. He is retrograde, taking us back, examining the power struggles, examining the roles and responsibilities that we're no longer in alignment to, and even more than that, examining where it is that we're not in alignment with a certain set of beliefs that we might have been adhering to for many, many moons now. This is an essential change of heart. This is really getting down to the nitty gritty on what it is that we're being kind of activated, inspired, motivated, determined to pursue. But because we have to really get our heart and our head in alignment before we engage the physical body to take action, this is one of those meet points where we're really sorting things out in our inner realm. The moon goes ahead, squares, gets into the boxing ring with the north node, the true node, if you will, the soul path, the destiny point that we're kind of confused about right now, because here's the thing. We're still in this Gemini energy. We're still in Gemini season, which has more weight put into the egoic intellect than it does the higher self. And here is where the problem is. The moon in Leo knows that there's a new mission, a new purpose, a new calling, a new path, a new direction, new vision, new dream that we have to pursue. But circumstantial evidence of our here and now is not suggesting that at all. So therefore, we're kind of cluster-F because the mental plane is still very connected to the here and now, and the here and now is not suggesting that change is around the corner. It's not suggesting that there's a new mission or a purpose for us to pursue. And so we're kind of cluster-F'd. We're blocked at this point, again, kind of getting hooked up, caught up on some of the finer details that actually don't matter. This will be a totally different shift come tomorrow because, of course, we're in summer solstice energy. We break free of the Gemini energy. We get a little bit more aligned with our emotional realm, with our intuition. And so there should be a totally different mood, different shift, different vibe come tomorrow where we are trusting our heart space, that higher self, that mission, that purpose, more than the circumstantial evidence of our here and now. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon semi-squaring with Mercury. So this is our heart space and our head space coming together to try to meet in the middle, which isn't happening today. We are on totally different, I'm going to say, pages, different chapters, different books at this point in time. Don't worry though, like we're going to recover from this very, very fast because we are still in the accelerated window of shifting of timelines of contracts. So we're not going to sit in this funk for too long. Just know that your heart is going to want something that your head doesn't agree with. The head is acting from the egoic intellect where logic and practicality trumps all, from the information and details that we're bringing in from our physical realms, while the heart space is aligned with our true authentic nature, the vibration and frequency of our mission and our purpose that never makes sense according to what it is, especially in our current circumstances that we're currently sitting in. So this is a definite awareness on where it is that our heart wants something that our head is trying to talk us out of.